duo. The duo. The duo.
The long-awaited return.
Long-awaited return. Welcome to episode 72.
Two testicles are back.
72 of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast. My
Just
name
kidding.
is Deonte Epps, joined by my best friend, my best man, my ace, my guy, Dane Beasley. Dane, are you staying warm? Are you staying safe? Winter weather out there, man. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Staying warm. And I'm not an athlete, so we good. Should be straight. Hopefully, well, about 30 minutes ago, there was some more snow and flurries coming down. So I was like, what is going on? But I mean, early reports I've been reading on Twitter, on the highways and stuff, little to no accidents. So that's good. People are driving safe, hopefully. But more than anything, hopefully all the loved ones out there and listeners, you're doing good. You're bundled up and you're with electricity and with power. So, yeah.
Yeah, stay warm, stay safe. Here in the Waco area, it's like a little mix of sleet and snow, ice, whatever.
Slush.
The roads are kind of frozen right now. Obviously, we're not making any moves here. We're chilling in the house and we're recording. Obviously, we're back for episode 72. It's been a while.
The Ronte Scales episode.
Yeah, shout out to Ronte. So I had my honeymoon, Dane. That was one reason why we were out of commission on the pod. Yeah.
Boy, y'all was on the honeymoon for like 4 weeks, wasn't it?
I wish, bro. A weeks long honeymoon in Mexico. That was very fun. And then we were gonna return the following week, but then you kind of weren't feeling well. So yeah, life happens, man. And we had a lot of people that listened to us and very appreciative of you checking us out. And man, what's going on? We're back. Yeah, 72. We're doing well, man, and we missed a lot of stuff, man.
A lot of drama for your mama.
Yeah, a lot of drama. A lot of stuff went down, man. This episode we're gonna try to touch on as much as we can without
being late, tardy.
Tardy. Trying to figure out what we're gonna say, all this stuff. So that kind of helped out with the timing of it, kind of getting all the information about all the news that's happened since we've been gone. Yeah, man. And of course, the big news this week is with former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores suing the NFL and three teams.
Alleging blacks.
Yeah, alleging racism and hiring practices. He sued the NFL and three teams, the Dolphins, Broncos, and Giants, alleging discrimination regarding his interview processes with Denver and New York and his firing last month by Miami. And his lawyers sent out a 58.
I would like to briefly
lawsuit.
Object.
Go ahead,
bro. The NFL has a standard. We're ending racism because it's taking all of us. So
it's on the field, right?
I'm sure this is nothing. This is just made up in our minds, but he's another one of those guys wants just a quick payday. That's what this looks like. They want to pull himself up by his bootstraps.
Yeah, obviously the NFL is doing everything they can. They have the end racism on the field. Yeah. This is all on us. It's all on the helmets.
Yeah, man.
So they're doing everything right. What was the when after the Kaepernick situation, they start playing "Lift Every Voice" before the game? Do they still do that?
All the little symbolic stuff and putting, the little cute commercials.
It's Black History Month now, so they're even taking even more precautions.
Look, it was timely, bro. It was like, hey guys, we understand it's a tough time, but yeah, it's been a lot of pandering from the NFL, but it's aside from it, obviously this taking place and still happening with Brian Flores, and of course probably some other individuals will come to light. The timing of it all is just like, are you kidding me? Like, obviously you want to celebrate your culture and Black history throughout the year. It's more of an anniversary for this time of year right now during February. But for it to take place like now, it's like, come on, bro. This is optically, SNL couldn't have written a better script. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is what it is. Not a lot of people. who all is surprised by this by show of hands? Who was surprised by
man.
these allegations and stuff? So I mean,
so diving deep into the story in the 58-page lawsuit, Flores alleges that the owner Stephen Ross attempted to incentivize him to tank, which means lose games on purpose, shortly after he was hired in 2019. Ross allegedly offered Flores $100,000 for every loss that season. Flores says that as the team won games late in the season, Dolphins general manager Chris Greer told him Ross was mad that the on-field success was compromising draft position. That's one of the things Flores said in the lawsuit. Another thing, Flores alleges that Ross pressured him into recruiting a prominent quarterback at the end of 2019 season. And before we get to speculating who that was, it says he refused to not violate the NFL's tampering rules. Ross then allegedly invited Flores onto a yacht for lunch in the winter of 2020, where he informed him that the quarterback was conveniently arriving at the marina for an impromptu meeting. So if we all remember in 2019 who was like the prominent quarterback at that time that potentially left a place that he had been for so long after winning 6 Super Bowls.
Who
So
could that be?
Who could that be? The man that we'll talk about in the next segment, who has decided to lead the game after 22 seasons. But yeah, man, Flores said he wasn't down for that, and Ross apparently got mad because it's Stephen Ross, and there's been more things talked about with him previously. But another thing, that was just another one of the allegations Flores said, as well as against probably the biggest thing, which is because it's more recent, Dane, was Flores was a candidate for the New York Giants job, right?
Really?
And yeah, man. So Flores, in the lawsuit, there is a text message thread between Flores and his former boss, Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots.
Oh.
And Bill Belichick is texting him, "Congratulations, Brian, on getting that Giants job."
So I called Bill. Bill said.
So I called Bill. And in the exchange, you can see Brian was, kind of shocked. Like, "Thanks, coach. I think I have a shot at it, but I haven't even interviewed."
Yeah.
And
how'd you know?
And then the record.
Bill's probably like,
if this those movies where the record scratch on Bill's end, Bill Belichick, he's like, yeah, this is where he messed up. And in the text message, you can see Bill Belichick saying he effed up. And that's when Brian Flores knew, and it's kind of sad. And I get to my actual feelings on it. Man, it feels like, and we have talked about it when they spoke on the not the advances, but the initiatives that they were going to take in general. I remember us having an episode about it, and we're more like, we'll believe it when we see it kind of things, because like episodes like this always seem to occur, where
this has been a theme multiple times a year. Something like this happens, scandalous. Often happening with black people. Some reason.
We're taking 3 steps forward and 5 back. And it's like, okay, it's like a cycle, a big cycle. And that was one of the reasons why I was really excited when the Denver Broncos had the Robert Smith was allegedly trying to buy him, the black owner, because this is the actual opportunity. Yeah, actual opportunity where you could see some change in the higher ups, where there's somebody, black, that's making the decisions for a team.
And this is not to say, the full disclaimer, this is not to say that just because a black guy happens to own a team that he has to hire nothing but black people. That's not what we're saying here. But if you have 32 individuals, most of which happen to not be black, and then if another black guy happens to come in the picture, it's kind of like, okay, this might be a change of venue. It doesn't necessarily mean that he has to hire a bunch of black people. That's not what we're saying. But the opportunity is good for the optics. Proceed,
right.
Deonte.
And I'm getting sidetracked here, but I'm about to throw some stats at the listeners and viewers, right? I'm about to hit them with the stats.
Hit them with the facts.
And this comes straight from the lawsuit that I have pulled up right here, right?
Okay.
So only one, and we know this now, only one of the NFL's 32 teams has a black head coach, Mike Tomlin, the Steelers. That's 3%.
One of the most successful coaches in NFL history.
Right? That's only 3%.
Right.
Now let's take it down to the coordinator level.
Ooh.
Only 4 of the NFL's 32 teams employ a black offensive coordinator. That's 12%.
All right.
The defensive side, it's a little uptick. 11 of the 32 teams, that's 34%, employ a black defensive coordinator. Then we'll go to the special teams. 8 of the NFL's 32 teams, that's 25%, employ a black special teams coordinator. Quarterback coach. 3 of the NFL's 32 teams, 9%. General manager. And I think this is probably the highest it's been, if ever. You know what I'm saying? It's 6 of the NFL's 32 teams. That's 19% employ a black general manager. Now, can you guess, Dane, off the top, what do you think the percentage of players that are black in the NFL are?
I'm going to say 73%.
70%. Really close. 70% of players in the NFL is black. So there's a disconnect there. If I told you, for example, Nick Wright, which I agree with Nick Wright on a lot of things, but I disagree with a whole lot of other things that he says. But he had a great point. He had a great point. He was like, if you woke up one day in the NHL, right? And I know that's crazy. How
I love the direction this is going. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, I'm rocking with you.
If you woke up in the NHL and there was like 20, 25 black head coaches in the NHL, you were like, what the hell's going on? Right?
Wait a minute now. What's going on here? Okay.
This is a predominantly white sport, and I got 20, 25 black head coaches, right? So like
going on.
Yeah, something's not right. So if you flip the script with the NFL and like those numbers I just said, like you could see, okay, something's not
the representation is off. Yeah, the opportunity of the representation is not. Something's off. That's a fair. Right. I mean, optically, when you think about it, imagination wise, when you're like, okay, man, oh yeah, that's weird. But nobody bats an eye about that because of. I mean, well, go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then, that was just my point. Like, in my opinion, the way to solve this, and I don't know, like, this is the closest we've been to having a black owner, with the sources saying the Robert Smith character guy was interested in buying the Broncos. But since then, I haven't heard much, which is, I didn't get my hopes entirely up, because when you always get hopes up about these certain things. Yeah. But at some point, I think the solution is to get minorities in those higher positions of ownership.
Give them a chance, bro.
Yeah, I
like
think
a legit chance. Like, not like, oh, we got our guy in mind that we're never going to hire, but let's go ahead and do a little bit of due diligence. Let's go through a few interviews just for the sake of doing that, and then see where it takes us. Just give it a chance. Because here's the thing: another issue that the NFL has, of course, like a lot of jobs based on or not based on merit, unfortunately. Sometimes you get a job because of who you know. That's just what it is. However, when you have jobs like this that are specifically tied to large amounts of money, and just so happen to be within the realm of the entertainment industry, why are so many of these guys that are hired retreads? Why are so many of these guys that are hired cousins and brother-in-laws and uncles and cousins of players,
generations,
you're hiring just based off of because they are in the same coaching room or something like that, with little to no success? And for some reason, the NFL of all places, who claim, or they're not in terms of professional sports leaders in following analytics and making decisions based on the success of the past, but you're literally putting out the same recycled bunch of head coaches and coordinators and stuff that have not accomplished anything. Is literally, hey man, my buddy, I used to coach with him back in the day, I'm going to bring him on because I know. Like, how do we not see an issue with this? Like, it'd be one thing if these guys they all had, Super Bowl runs. I mean, well, not even Super Bowls. They had title runs and things like that and success in those positions. But a lot of the times these guys are just associated by just being in the same room with some of these guys. And it's crazy to me. But
yeah,
again, here we are. But my bad. Go ahead.
Slow to hire, quick to fire, man.
Yeah.
That's the staple. that's a staple. Like, what was the Dolphins' record at the end of the season?
They had a winning record. I do know
Right.
that.
Okay, I thought so. And so for this man to get fired after a winning season, I mean, I can't even imagine like his first thought about that. And I almost forgot, Dane. I got a clip because yesterday or the day before, Brian Flores, he did a media circus. Not, I don't know what's the proper term, but he went on a little media tour after this lawsuit. And so this was Brian Flores on Get Up on ESPN, kind of talking about his thought process with this lawsuit and the change he's trying to make.
You filed this lawsuit, which you are aware is obviously going to have enormous repercussions. What was the tipping point for you through your experiences that made you feel this was something you needed to do?
Well, I mean, just, I've been on, several interviews over the years. And look, I mean, we didn't have to file a lawsuit for the world to know that there's an issue from a hiring and firing practices in the National Football League.
Why? That's correct. A lot of people have pointed this out. So why did you feel you needed to do this?
Because we need change. That was the number one reason. And I know there's a sacrifice, there's risk to that, but at the end of the day, we need change. We need change. I know many very capable black coaches, some of my staff who I know, if given an opportunity or when given an opportunity, are going to go and do a great job on their interview. And I would just hate for that to be a waste. And I think we need to change the hearts and minds of the people making those decisions. That's why we filed the lawsuit.
Who are those people? Who specifically do you think needs the change?
The owners of the NFL.
So that was Brian Flores, straight from his mouth, talking about what the decision process and why he felt like this was a move he needed to make, and it is definitely like reminiscent to me, Dane. And I don't know if you agree with me or not, of the Colin Kaepernick situation, as far as him sacrificing and knowing the risks of blackballing, or not blackballing, going against the NFL and the protective shield, so to speak, and what that could mean for his career down the line. Because, we haven't seen Colin Kaepernick ever since he took a stand or take a knee, you could say. But Brian Flores kind of realizes that, or he's taking it onto himself to believe that this is something more than him, which he has stated, and which is kind of true. And for the generations of other coaches coming up in the ranks that want to, pursue goals like this. And so I think for him, I think it's definitely courageous to go this route. And I started to think about situations that I have been in where I felt like I was qualified for a certain job. And I'm not saying it was a racist kind of thing, but like there were times where I felt like, man, I was qualified for that. Why I didn't get it? Why? And I think it kind of went back to what you were talking about, the who you know aspect, and people that are in with these kind of people and that. And I think this like a brotherhood, not a brotherhood, like a what's the term I'm looking for, Dane? You kind of touched on it earlier, like a
nepotism,
like kind of like a pact of not yes men, but I'm talking about like a group of people that in the know with each other. Like you talk about the coaching tree.
It's not circle jerking, but that'd probably be the most. I mean, borderline appropriate term, because it's like, hey guy,
yeah.
And
then you go back to the stats, like the stats of name. You can't argue that. It is what it is, man. The representation for minority coaches, I won't just say black, but Hispanic coaches in the NFL as well is very low. I think Ron Rivera is the only Hispanic head coach, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody that's listening or watching, but
there might be like two, maybe a few. But
yeah,
before you, because you're onto a good point. One of the things that you mentioned about Brian Flores, and it's the similar act of history books 10, 15 years from now will, call him a hero. The NFL will name a day after him. He'll be on like one of the commercials in like the background, like a little blue hued little silhouette or whatever, just how courageous he was. But right now, of course, he's enemy number one, to me, in my opinion. But think about it. A few years ago, I remember reading about this. The average age of all NFL head coaches and coordinators was 49 years old. So it's pretty old, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll say it was pretty old, right? So Brian Flores, who was formerly an NFL head coach, he definitely, the moment he pushed in on that, on that lawsuit, that was his retirement. He submitted his retirement papers. We probably won't see him coach ever again in the NFL. But I'm sure he understands the risk of that. He's 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
40 years old. Or 40 years young, the way you want to look at it.
Right.
So we have a guy that's at the very beginning, or there was at the very beginning of his coaching career, decent success in terms of when you look at it, winning, because winning is what matters. Obviously, he didn't get the opportunity to fulfill or to reach, I guess, pivotal markers in his
And the way he
contract.
put it, he was hired to fail. Like,
Yeah, he was
you getting
a
paid.
bridge.
You
He was a
getting
bridge
paid to
coach.
lose.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
a bridge
like
coach.
you're losing. You're gonna get fired, and they're gonna hire the guy they want to hire to
Right.
bank off the high pick that you had, or the quarterback they wanted you to sign. All this stuff is a big setup. But
it's unfortunate because it lets a lot of these black coaches know that they're expendable and that they're temporary. I mean, that's the message that you're sending. Of course, this does happen. This happens to white coaches as well. This does happen to white coaches. We're not saying it doesn't. However, alarmingly, if the small percentage of black coaches make up the NFL head coaching rosters, and they're the largest portion of coaches that get the shortest leashes in terms of having the ability to try to turn around a program, that doesn't make you wonder maybe there's something at will going here. Maybe there's not as much leniency going on here. And we're not saying that just because, again, it's not saying just because he's a black guy in a coaching position, he should be, given the Jason Garrett treatment, which he's allowed to be at the head coach of your organization for 13 years with complete failure at every level. We're not saying that. However, you want to make sure that these same head coaches get the same opportunity to fail just as their white counterparts, just in the name of fairness, because this is a league of parity. It's supposed to be a league of fairness. Everyone should have an opportunity to win. They made that very clear when they increased it from 16 games to 17 games. It's all about making sure that we have more opportunity to watch more games and more opportunity to watch more teams win. That's what it's all about. But it's very lopsided, and it's unfortunate we're still having to talk about this, because trust me, we're sick and tired of talking about this shit too. It's getting old. It's been old. We're tired of talking about it, not for the sake of, we're not the talking heads. We don't represent all of the black community, but at the same time, it's this is what we see. This is what we experience. This is just a microcosm of, unfortunately, the lifestyle that many people who are professionals have to live. But again, the change has to start up top with the NFL, and I don't think I don't have a solution. I'm giving you the same answer I gave you last time when we talked about the Rooney Rule. Is it working? Is it not working? I don't have a solution, but I know that this isn't working. It's very obvious this isn't working.
And how do you decipher how do you decipher if somebody is really doing the Rooney Rule the right way? Like we've seen through this lawsuit, with what Brian Flores has said as far as what the Denver Broncos did, and if that's entirely true, I'm pissed. Like that, like I'm a Denver Broncos fan, but golly, like how? And for the people that didn't hear, in the lawsuit, Brian Flores claimed that when he was interviewing for the Denver Broncos position in 2019, that John Elway and the GM, I think Joe Ellis and the guys showed up late to the interview, and they seemed disheveled, like they had a hangover, and that kind of showed him that they weren't, like, it was just like a deal to get the Rooney Rule out the way. Like, yeah, we're interviewing. Of course, it's funny, all the different, after Brian Flores came out and said this, each and every one of the different defendants in this lawsuit have come out and to say it's false. And, John Elway literally dropped the big quote today right before we started recording. I didn't get a chance to fully read it, but I don't want John Elway to be a
I
part of
got
the
you. I'm
Broncos
gonna guess
anymore,
what it
man. It's
said.
just
Something like it went something like.
hold on. Let me see if I can find it. No.
I want to first get ahead of these allegations. Blah 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 blah. I have black friend. Blah 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 blah. 73% of our roster is black. Blah blah blah. Black blacky black black. Wakanda forever. Something like that. I'm sure it went something like that. If I had to guess about the statement that was put out by John Elway's team, but so
Yes, falsely acclaimed or false. What did he say? Hold on. Yeah, while I was not planning to respond publicly to the false defamatory claims by Brian Flores, I cannot be silent any longer with my character, integrity, and professionalism being attacked. I took Coach Flores very seriously as a candidate for our head coach position in 2019 and enjoyed our 3.5-hour interview with him along with the rest of the group. I was prepared, ready, and fully engaged during the entire interview as Brian shared his experience and vision for our team. Yeah, man. You know, nobody's going to come out and say, yeah,
hey,
that's
man,
true.
look, I was drunk, pissy drunk when I showed up to the interview. I even had on yesterday's clothes. My bad, G.
Right.
You would have got the job. Unfortunately, we already had our guy who we just fired, not too long ago. So, sorry. Maybe you should work a little bit harder. Try to win a little bit more. Peace. Something like that.
Something like that, man. It's, like we said, you don't have a solution. Mine is to get, I don't know how, but get somebody to buy a black team. I didn't mean that. I've been a black owner.
Always bet on black.
Always. Yeah. Somebody
That's so corny. The camera zoomed in on always bet on black.
Yeah, man.
Oh, shoot.
We'll see how this situation plays out. I think he still interviewed for the Saints job, I believe. But man, it's looking. I don't know. I don't see anybody doing that now that he's come out and went this route. But we'll keep a close eye on that, Dane. And in other big NFL news, our favorite quarterback, the man that I love to hate, Tom Brady. Retiring after 22 seasons, 7 Super Bowls. That's insane. 7 Super Bowls.
You got the sound drops, man. Give him the claps. Go ahead and give him the claps, Deonte.
Yeah, let's see if I can find the clap for Mr. Brady. Let's see. There we go.
Shout out to you, Mr. Thomas Brady. Me, I'm one of your biggest haters. My team has never beaten you in your entire career. So hats off to you. I wouldn't go in the streets parading and shouting about it. It's just the Cowboys. But, hey, man, you did your thing. We appreciate you. Now it's going to be interesting just how lopsided the organization that you just left is going to be because, sorry, but, yeah. Welcome back to the regular scheduled program, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Cowboys going right back. It was fun
while it lasted, huh?
Yeah, going right back to the basement.
Back to mediocrity.
All 3 of the fans that I know.
I put up a poll about this. Who do you think would win the NFC South now that Brady's gone?
I think I responded. I just went ahead and guessed with the Panthers just because of desperation.
I picked the Saints.
Oh wait, no,
I don't know.
I would have said the Saints if they still had Sean Payton. But
yeah, that's a good
now
point.
That and their cap situation. I don't want to say the cap situation because the cap is literally a myth. They bring in Marty Bird every freaking season to fix the cap. Obviously. So I don't know. But anyways, I'd say the Panthers just because of the loaded roster that they had. They underperformed, of course, but I think once they find themselves a decent quarterback or something that's consistent, I don't know. I'm just going with them. Plus, I like the color scheme. So
I think I picked the Saints. Just the defense played decent for them. Yeah, this year, like they really carried the load. If they found, Jameis, if he comes back and stays with the Saints, I think he'll be the best quarterback in that division over Matt Ryan, over I think Sam Darnold's over there, and I don't know who the Bucs are gonna get. So
the Bucs.
Yeah, shout out to Tom Brady, man. It's, obviously Tom. What else can you say about him? The greatest quarterback to ever play the game. 7 Super Bowls. as much as I love to hate him, and I am enjoying that he is out of the league, when he did what he did when he was, killing it for 22 years on top. He led the league in passing this year. Like he could literally still play. Like it's not like he's walking away from the game because he can't throw like Peyton Manning did,
That boy was throwing ducks.
Yeah, noodle arm. Like that last year, defense literally carried. He got benched that year. Peyton Manning did. I don't know if you remember, Dane, that last year he was in. He got benched for Brock Osweiler. Then Brock started playing bad, and we brought Peyton in. The defense just carried us to a Super Bowl, which, I won't regret that.
Didn't go too well.
No, it didn't go too well. But Tom, man, he led the league in passing this year. He probably has almost all the records that probably going to be staying for a while, maybe until Patrick Mahomes gets into those later years. But he could have still played another 3 years probably, and at the height of the game. No, bro, he still got it.
Ability, yes. The ability, yes. He does have the ability. Okay. Whether or not they would have been able to sustain the players or the personnel on that roster,
okay,
that's a whole different. That's the argument I'm going with, the logical sense, because I have no idea how that's going to look, but I'm interested because I love chaos. But go ahead, it's your floor.
Yeah, deuces. That's all I can say about Tom.
Tom!
Great career, and Hall of Fame. He'll be eligible 2027. Obviously, first ballot. He's gonna be on that thing.
I'll play.
But the other big news out of the NFL. The Washington football team has decided on a new name and brand. It is the Washington Commanders, and everybody on social media is making fun of it. On the other hand, I actually...
You loser. You better not say it.
You like the name? I didn't hate it. I don't hate the name.
No, I don't hate the name. It's just fun to make fun of because everything is just atrocious.
Of course.
Shout out to my dog, Big Mark.
Yeah, Mark, if you ever listen to this. The Washington Commanders. And Dane, did you see that video I just sent you on Twitter, the Twitter messages? Anyway, I'm about to play the audio of it on the pod. But I'm gonna let you. Okay, I'm gonna play the audio. It is fans always love to come up with like a chant, something to say for their team. You got Broncos country, you got Go Pack Go. Previously, when it was the Redskins, they had Hail to the Redskins. And so this video went viral after the Commanders were selected for Washington. And there's a video that I am going to play. Actually, yes, I'm going to play the audio.
I just played I didn't even make it through the 15-second mark. Black History Month. What the hell? What is this? Why did these... What?
Hello, Dave.
No. Why are we going out like this?
So if you're listening to the
it's
episode...
only day 3.
I'm going to play the audio. If you're watching on YouTube and on the video, you're going to be able to see the video of this particular instance of these. Yeah. So I'm going to just play it.
We are Commanders. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Washington Commanders football team. We've got a new slogan. Yeah, we took it off of Farmers, but the fact of the matter is, we are Commanders. Boy, it gets better every time, I tell you guys. Hey, like I always tell you guys from the Rally Captain, you rep it hard, or don't rep it at all. It's your boy Rally Captain, and we are Commanders. I love it, guys. Take care.
Bro. That's the same tune as that We Are Farmers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
Bro, you about to get hit with a cease and desist, my boy. Like, all right, so first off,
top 10 cringe-worthy ever.
Yeah,
bro.
Super cringe. As much as I would love to make fun of this embarrassment of an NFL or professional football team, because they're division rivals. They're in the NFC. So this is nothing but great material from the season when we beat the hell out of them again. But this is so awkward, bro. Like, this is so awkward. Like, 10 times worse than like the awkwardness you get like when people like singing happy birthday to you, but it's not your birthday. Your birthday had already passed like 4 or 5 days like after the fact. Like this is that level of awkward. Like tripping and falling after receiving your diploma or something like that on the stage like that. This level of embarrassment times 20. But did you see the little brigade, the brigade of?
I saw you tweet that.
I'm like, bro, what the? Why is this funny? Like, I guess they thought like, hey, we about to kill him with this shit, boy. What you hop in the whip and drive around and I don't know.
Commanders. Do you think there's a better name they could have chose, or just kept the Washington football team name? Because
I would have kept the Washington football team.
And honestly. People made fun of that though when that happened.
But that was clean though. Like how cold you? I mean, obviously it didn't work out that well for them. But I mean, it's not going to work out well for 31 teams in the NFL. But you were your mascot was there wasn't one. So like you were legit like the Browns.
That's
like, what the hell is a Brown?
The uniqueness.
Like, what the hell is a Brown?
Being able to stand out.
What is a Brown, man? Like it's almost the same, essentially the same thing. So, but anyways, this one sucks. What's even worse than that is the whole presentation of their logo and the years that they won the Super Bowl or the championships. They had the wrong years on there. I saw that. It was so. I was like, wait a minute, 1992 didn't carry the 3. Y'all won in 1991, didn't y'all? Like it's, and somebody brought up the comparisons. Like nobody calls them the '86 Bears; they're called the '85 Bears.
Because it's the regular season. They won.
Exactly.
Right.
Nobody calls it the '73 Dolphins. It's the '72 Dolphins. Like, so they got that all wrong. Hopefully, they get that fixed, and then just them going on their social media and posting memes and trying to clout chase, and that backfiring. It's like, you guys suck so bad. And it's just, I, for one, appreciate it.
Okay, what about the jerseys?
No.
Do you like the jerseys at all?
The little W.
Okay, yeah, the W in the front, I didn't like that part. Yeah, that was... Yeah, the W in the front was kind of weird.
So every time after they lose, somebody's going to inevitably Photoshop a W. Photoshop an L right in the middle for it. But it's like there was no effort put into the customizing of the jersey. Like it's literally like, okay, say what you want about the name, the mascot, whatever. That's fine. Corny, yes, but at least y'all could have came through. Now the black uniforms were decent, but at least y'all could have came through and killed it with the uniform. Like y'all, I don't know who use Microsoft Paint to create them uniforms, but whoever it was, they need to be fired and they don't need another job. I apologize. I know we're in a pandemic, but it is what it is. They could have consulted with somebody over at Oregon or somebody over with, I don't know, somebody with some dope uniforms. They should have been able to, hey, look, we need something new. We need something that says we're here. We're not going to win a lot of games.
That we're taking command.
We're going to look good losing. Like they dropped the ball. Unfortunately for them, this is the bet that they're going to have to lay in until they inevitably have to sell their team or change their name 15 years.
Yeah, and we still got Daniel Snyder as the owner. Goes back to what we were saying before. So they do have I think the guy that helped run the I don't want to misquote him, but he's not the GM, but he's like the marketing, the one that helped run the rebrand. I think he's a brother because they announced it on Good Morning America, one of the Today shows, something like that. But
okay,
I think I like the black uniforms, everything except the W in the front of the helmet, which I don't get. I don't get that. But the name, I think Red Wolves could have been better, but I think they lost the trademark to that.
Yeah, somebody had some dude got a bunch of them trademarks.
I think what really happened is I don't think Commanders was their first choice. I think they wanted. I believe that they wanted to go.
Your sources tell you
Red Wolves, right? Yeah, sources are telling me that they wanted to go that route. Because I don't know if you remember the San Antonio Commanders from the what's the league that folded before XFL? It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Not the AAF.
Yes, the AAF.
Okay.
Yep. They had the San Antonio Commanders. So if you go
Oh,
to
they
the San
stole their whole
Antonio,
little slogan, right? They stole their little slogan, I think.
yeah, so yeah, you seen it on Twitter. So if you go to the San Antonio Commanders Twitter page, their old Take Command logo has Take Command hashtag has the Washington name on it now.
So awkward. So awkward, bro.
Yeah. So they said it embodied what DC is about. The DMV area, as far as
wink, wink.
I don't know. But yeah, Washington Commanders is the name for the future of the Washington franchise. And yeah. Also, Dane, next week, there's a big game happening in the NFL.
Doesn't feel like it. Carry on.
Super Bowl.
Get to your point, Seth.
The Super Bowl, man. Our guy Joe Burrow, and the Bengals taking on Los Angeles Rams, which I did have in the Super Bowl. I had the Rams. Remember that?
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I had Rams Chiefs.
What did do? Good job.
But Rams and
how does that feel?
Bengals.
I mean, I give my brother a hard time about it. His disdain for the Chiefs because, of course, you guys have never beaten Patrick.
Oh, I love that the Chiefs are out.
So, but here's the thing. He is hate. And, of course, you guys take your opportunity to jab me because Cowboys lost to the Broncos. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
But why would you, in your right mind, hope for the Chiefs to make it to the Super Bowl? Like, I'm just curious. Me and myself and everybody.
Oh, you talk. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, so for me, I'm separating.
Back that up real quick for me.
I'm separating my prediction, what I thought, to what I believe, or excuse me, what I want to happen.
Okay.
I make those, like, my prediction isn't necessarily what I want to happen. It's what I think is going to happen.
I got you.
So when I made that Chiefs-Rams prediction, that was like, I legit thought, I think like everybody really thought the Chiefs were going back to the Super Bowl.
When I got back from, we left, the game started, and it was good enough score. I was like, all right, let's go. We left as a family, went to go check on the house because the house was being built. So we are going to go check on it. Came back. I'm like, damn, these fools came back? Like, what the hell? Like, that's how not confident I was they were going to win. I was like, okay, this game's over with. But how awful do you have to be Patrick Mahomes or a fan and be like, dang, we literally could have went back to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. All he had to do was check down to somebody in the flats or kick the field goal before halftime. Yeah. That sucks to be that close.
Right. That close. And speaking of close, bro, like can you remember a better like playoffs in your lifetime that you remember watching where every game from the divisional round, like those 6 games from divisional round and championship round, I can't recall. I don't ever remember every game having me like stick to my seat, like, you know what I'm saying? Like to the very last possession, last score, last play.
I don't think so. There was a lot of good games, like a lot of competitive games across the board. A lot of surprising upsets too. But
that goes back to the parity that you talked about earlier in the league or earlier in the episode within the NFL.
Yeah.
And like teams, and that's how you get from an NFL perspective, like their marketing team and everybody that runs that and the higher ups that want the audience engaged to get new fans. That's how you get new fans. Like
Bengals in the Super Bowl.
You don't want to see this, right? You don't want to see the same teams in the Super Bowl every year, right? Like the parity aspect is something that I feel like with those games being so close and then having a team like the Bengals come out and be represented on the AFC side, that attracts new fans. I know the NFL is loving that. Yeah. And we'll break down the Super Bowl more on next week's episode. But just off the top of your head, what sticks out to you as far as the Bengals and the Rams matching up?
They know how to get their offensive playmakers the ball. That's how they're in the Super Bowl. Whether it's competent quarterback play or whether it's competent play calling, offensive play calling, they know how to get their money guys the ball. That's all there is to it. You have amazing offensive weapons like Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham.
Cooper Kupp, man. How is Cooper Kupp always open, bro? He's always open. Like
I don't know. I don't know. But everybody knows the super athletic, freaky white dude And
Yeah.
he just the knack that he has for getting everybody that's played on a professional or everybody that's played on a 7-on-7 team, football team, basketball team, everybody knows that one super athletic white dude. They're like, man, white dude kind of cold, man. Like everybody. So he's dude's on another level. But I ain't gonna say I've been known that, but I seen the boy in my own two eyes, versus my Sam Houston Bearcats back in the day. So I knew boy was gonna be a star.
I knew he's cold.
Nah, but he was he's a route runner. And then a message to any up and coming receivers: you want the NFL dudes or colleges to notice you? Separation. That's everything before the ball gets to your hands, because he's amazing separator, like just how wide open dude gets. But shout out to him, man. Shout out to Jamar Chase. Shout out to T. Higgins. What's the status of old buddy tight end from the Bengals? Is he done?
No, they said it was an MCL sprain. What's his CJ? CJ Duzma.
I don't want to butcher buddy's name. I forgot his name.
Right, I probably did.
But
if Miles listened to the episode, Miles, just let us know how you pronounce homie name.
Yeah, look, the only Bengals fan that I know.
Yes.
Miles Hill.
I always try to give him props after all the games. He had messaged when I posted our predictions. He put on there with a shocked face,
Yeah, he was like, all right, bet.
Against, yeah,
man.
Hey,
look, my bad, Miles. I'm sorry, man. My bad. Yeah. Shout out to CJ too, man.
And Joe Burrow, man, he made some plays in that game, like they were dead in the water, and he just kept making plays as much as we talked about. Yeah.
Like if they don't get the offensive tackle or offensive guard in the first round this year, I don't. But he talk about getting pummeled, and just running for his life the entire game, and still just coming back,
making play after play. Yeah.
And
that's another aspect we'll talk about more next week, but they're gonna need some help with this D line with Von Miller and obviously Aaron Donald, Floyd,
Deonte.
Yeah, those guys,
out, man.
What? I said Aaron Donald.
I said Von Miller first. Like we know he was a Bronco, Deonte. We know. This guy. No, you need to talk about the best player in the NFL himself, Aaron Donald. That's the guy.
Of course, no disrespect, no plex, Aaron Donald.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Don't let homie come over and hem you up, bro. You see what he did? Was Devonta Freeman had that boy moonwalking in midair.
Yeah, that'll be a tough matchup for them. So we'll talk more about that next week. But shout out to Joey Burrow and the Bengals. And you didn't mention Matt Stafford. You didn't want to mention him because you don't like Matt Stafford.
No. Here's the thing. I'm gonna keep it a whole 100. I'm still not a believer in Matthew Stafford. That's just what it is. Dude's been he's a bona fide scrub. He can't play. His hands are too small. No, I just get so tired of people. Or before he became around, I just got so tired of people. Oh yeah, Matthew Stafford is the whole thing. He's a good coach. It's like, bro, he hasn't done anything. The man. I mean, obviously, you can't do much of anything if you play for Detroit. I get that, but there was a Stat Patford, bro. That's a dude's nickname. I mean, that's just what it is.
When you're down 10, 20 points a game, you got to do something to come back, right?
Hear it, man. What was all that smoking energy and non-recklessness in the first 2 or 3 quarters of the game? I ain't trying to hear that bull job, man. You putting your whole team up underneath.
Matt Stafford wins the Super Bowl. Then
Matt Stafford gets props right now for taking his team to where he's at. I'm still gonna be a hater. I got to keep it 100. Like that's just what it is. That's what it is, baby. That's all it is. I gotta keep it 100. Like I wasn't a Matthew Stafford fan just because of just the nature of his play. Like people, lauding over the guy and fawning over him because threw for 14,000 yards in the season and of course went 3-14 somehow. So, but shout out to Matt Patford, bro. He's
stupid, man.
Super Bowl. Shout out to him, man. Hopefully, I just want to see a good game. I honestly could care less who wins. I'm not gonna bet or anything on the game. I just hope we get a decent game or whatever. But both of these teams also another thing I wanted to highlight aside from the two getting their number one receivers of the ball, Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp. The run game, they both have. I love the way they utilize running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mixon has
Cam
been
Akers, man, coming back. That's insane.
What?
Man, towards ACL.
The freaking NFL body, on average, the NFL body is a beast. Like the injuries that these guys go through, just the wear and tear. Like these guys are playing. Like that's just the willpower of the NFL. The average NFL body is crazy.
And I think, bro, it has also something to do. And I'm not a medical expert, and we might need to bring somebody back on like KJ to talk about this. But
I was like, who do we know that happens to have a profession in this sort of thing?
Is there like there have to be like advances in technology in the medicine world where these guys are recovering quicker from injuries like that, like a torn ACL, torn Achilles.
Because that was a depth sentence back in the day, wasn't it? Like,
yes.
You think about what Booby Miles and them, and like that's a depth. Like that's a wrap. You shred your knee, it's over with. But now it's like, oh yeah, bro. You know, I was walking to my refrigerator, torn my ACL last week, but I'm good now. You know, I'm in rehab. I squat about 275 pounds, but 18 times, but I'm good now. So I don't know. I
was only on crutches for 2 weeks. Now I'm walking in this boot. Like what?
Yeah, I picked up my car and moved it around the block the other day too, but I'm good now. I don't know what's up with these super soldier dudes, but bro, like I'm impressed
insane.
by it. I'm always impressed by the physical elements of what these guys are able to push their bodies to do. Like it's nothing short of impressive. Just when you think about it, these are the top like 0.5% of performing people in the world. Like there won't be any better in shape people than some of these guys. So it's just kind of cool. But Joe Mixon, I love his run style. I mean, we watched Joe Mixon since back in OU, right? Back in OU, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
OU days.
So he's been that's the kind of NFL back that you need. You know, this style of play and tough between
they got some JP Ryan too from Oklahoma.
Yeah. He was about to piss me off, bro. Boy's about to lose in the game. I was like, bro, you one job, bro. Like
they said Joe Mixon wasn't down too on that one run. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The one where he didn't get touched.
Yeah, you know how that
gamesmanship.
The fix.
Just let it go.
The fix. No,
fix.
But yeah,
it should be a very entertaining Super Bowl next week, and we'll make our predictions on next week's episode. And in the college football world, Dane, former Oklahoma quarterback, Caleb Williams finally makes a decision, which everybody kind of knew where he was going.
Damn well he knew where he was
Lincoln
going.
Riley, headed to USC.
Credit to him. You know, he's a teenager at the end of the day, so I get it. But you know that.
Yeah.
Ain't no shame in your game, bro. Wear it with your whole chest, my boy.
That could probably be something we talk about again next week or something.
Oh,
but the transfer portal, as far as I think I saw a stat, like over 1,000 something kids in the portal this past season, which is crazy to think about. Like 1,000 kids trying to find homes, and not every student athlete is going to find what they're looking for, and so that's just this whole big shuffle thing that we already talked about. That's going to forever change college football, which I think, as many meetings as they've had, and with everything with NIL, these suits are going to get in a room and make rules about. I don't think this will last long with this one-time transfer thing.
Think about this, and anybody else that has a messed up thought process about the transfer portal and doesn't like it.
Well, mine's not messed up.
No, I'm not talking about you.
Oh.
If you have a problem with the transfer portal, but you happen to be a fan of the Arizona Cardinals, the Cincinnati Bengals, or even the Cleveland Browns, something is wrong with you. And I say that because there would be no Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, and of course, I hate to lump him in here with these guys because he doesn't belong, but Baker Mayfield without the transfer portal. Like, they have success enough, not to say because they ended up at the university they went to, they're able to be, good professionals in the league. That's not what I'm saying. But they were afforded the opportunities necessary to them and granted to them because they were able to transfer to other schools. And because of that, they were able to build competent and beautiful resumes to get drafted in high positions. And of course, essentially, or eventually, for most, I'd say 2 out of 3 of those guys, they're going to get super good long-term contracts. it is what it is. This is the route to success. There isn't one way to success. You don't have to go to one school and stay there all 4 years or 5 years and then make a living. It's okay. You can move around. That's your right to do so. To get mad at these 17, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds for moving around and going to schools to benefit themselves when you yourself would move from your particular job that you're at after 6 or 7 months just to make sure that you're putting your family in the best possible position. It's problematic. I can't see how you think that that's okay to hate on these young cats. It is what it is. It's their life. They are your entertainment. Whatever they do that affects their livelihood, it shouldn't
Doesn't
piss you
affect
off
you.
that much. Exactly. Just let them dudes live, man. At the end of the day, they're
Let the
trying to do what's
boys
best
play.
for them. Yeah, let
the
them
boys
play.
Let the boys
So,
play.
Stop being a
Yeah.
hater. Stop pocket watching, man. Let them
Yeah.
boys get their money. Because you getting your bread. Why you stopping hating? Why you hating on them when they trying to get their bread, man? Come on
Or
now.
say pocket watching.
They pocket watching. They pocket watching, man. Pocket watching. You know what they like? They like. Oh, never mind. I'll save that analogy for another day. Put that in my pocket.
Caleb Williams to USC, not surprising. Not
Go ball
surprising.
out, young
and
brother.
then the
be a Cowboy
USC should be
junior.
looking pretty decent. Okay, here you go.
I'm trying to get rid of my
Cowboys.
quarterback.
We ain't gonna talk about the Cowboys yet. But our last story of the pod, Dane, and I believe the game is kicking off probably as we're recording this episode, the Senior Bowl, man. I haven't really been paying attention to the athletes, so I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
It's time for General Homeboy.
General Homeboy.
Of course, I'm unprepared, but it's cool because I'm prepared. So, boom, here we go. Senior Bowl. It's an amazing time of year. We have some of the best athletes in all of college football come together up in Mobile, Alabama, and they get to run practices against each other. And then, of course, it ends with the culmination of a game where they're running 20, 25 miles per hour, boom, heading to each other, bam, making good tape. You've seen the likes of your Zach Martins and your Aaron Donalds make a name for themselves and move up their draft stock and, of course, have pivotal all-pro Hall of Fame level careers thus far. This is where legacies are created. There's a bunch of talent that goes without saying, but I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Deonte, your team and my team, we both have struggled with protecting the quarterback. We've made a mockery of the game by, quote unquote, not blocking, not doing a good job of being aware of, situations, getting quarterbacks killed, essentially. False starts, holding has plagued both of our teams. Mine's more so than yours.
Yep.
Fortunately for us, with the nature in which we're picking in the draft, your team as well as my team, there's plenty of opportunities for beefing up that offensive line, getting guys that have a quote-unquote mean streak and can sustain blocking and have the measurables, if you want to say. My thing is, if you can play, you can play. It doesn't matter how long your arms are, how small your hands are. It doesn't matter what's in there, how big your heart is. So, off top, this year, I am proclaiming, based on what the practices that we've been seeing, the NFL draft is going to be made in the trenches this year. The guys that you're going to see have the most success are going to be offensive linemen and defensive linemen. If I had to pick one or two guys, as much as I love these wide receivers and these freakishly fast and big wide receivers that are coming out this year, I'm probably going to have to go with two offensive linemen that can fix our problems. It's a cliche to go with one of these guys, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa State, center, state championship wrestler. He took down old buddy from Worst from the Buccaneers. Like, if you've seen Tristan Wirfs play football, he's an aggressive human being. It doesn't take much from anybody to see him get, beat. I've seen clips, of course, once draft season pulls around, you see clips from like high school and stuff like that. Because they're both the top ranked players in Iowa that year, if I'm not mistaken, when they came out. But anyways, hell of a player. He's going to be somebody's all-pro center 2, 3, 4 years from now. Jason Kelsey, he's athletic just like him. He's nasty, bro. Of course, people are going to say he's undersized, but that it is what it doesn't matter how short or how tall you are. If you can play, you can play. That's been my motto. What it is. Second player, this is tough.
I'm gonna add in because my Broncos are in a weird, I wouldn't say weird. We just hired Nathaniel Hackett, and as much as I don't like the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming to Denver, seems more and more like that's going to be the case. But if by chance that's not the case, that means we need a quarterback, because I think a new coach is going to want to pick his guy, and I think that kind of leaves Drew Lock on the outs. As much as people in Denver still like Drew Lock, I think he needs a fresh start somewhere else. I think Denver needs a fresh start at quarterback. So in the draft, we're picking at 9, and it's not a draft heavy, or excuse me, quarterback heavy draft.
Ain't no quarterback's going to be taken in the top 5. That's
right.
not happening, unfortunately.
Right.
Those guys aren't here.
A name that I've heard this week a lot that's making a lot of noise and a lot of draft experts' top quarterback is Malik Willis.
Okay.
And from what I've seen, as far as a comparison, I don't like to compare, but the hype that Josh Allen was receiving, not necessarily the same quarterback, but the same kind of hype that Josh Allen was receiving coming out of Wyoming is, since Wyoming was a smaller school, not a Power 5 school, right. Malik Willis went to Liberty. And so I think that's the kind of hype he's getting now, as far as, or the hype that he wasn't getting before that he's getting now during Senior Bowl week. And depending on how he plays in the Senior Bowl game today, I think he could probably rise up draft boards. And I think it'd probably be smart for Denver. And I'm sure they already talked to him to kind of see what he could look like. I would love for him to get picked by the Broncos if we can't get a top quarterback in the trade, as much as I don't want Aaron Rodgers for other reasons that people might be able to guess why. But like, if we don't go that route, I would love to have Malik Willis be a Denver Bronco. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. But yeah, man. Just thought I'd put you on the spot real quick.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got one other player. That's it.
Go ahead, bro.
One other player. Well, man, two other players. Just two. Just real quick.
Go ahead.
We don't have, like I said, we don't have. There isn't a Joe Burrow in this draft. There isn't a Chase Young in this draft. We don't have those guys. That's not to say that this draft isn't going to be good, but the guys that are responsible for making these picks are going to have to be on top of them doing their homework. But 2 additional guys, or 2. I only had one other guy I was going to talk about, but then I thought about the second guy that I would be a moron if I didn't bring him up. But one of the other guys I was going to bring up was Zion Johnson. He was a offensive lineman, guard, probably a guard. He's probably going to play guard when he gets to the league, from Boston College. He's been doing pretty well. We get to see you're going to see a lot of matchups between last week and up to the next week of one-on-ones between these guys, because that's a lot of what they do. A lot of the practices are made up of them going one-on-ones. A lot of NFL coaches are there. They're scouting. They got their scouting hats on right now. But you're going to want to pay attention to that name, because he's going to be one of your premier, authentic, back in the day, old school offensive guards. Big dude. The other guy, you've probably heard about him a lot if you've been watching college football, but he's a terror. He's probably going to be one of the best edge rushers coming into the league. And I'm speaking of no one other than Jermaine Johnson.
I saw him bull rush that one guy from what school? Kentucky? I think he bull rushed the right tackle from
Darren
Kentucky.
Kenner.
Yeah.
Darren Kenner.
Yeah, man.
Unfortunately, that looked bad. Could have killed.
And Jermaine Johnson's from Last Chance U too.
So yeah. So I love watching skill guys. I'm a former wide receiver myself, so I love watching skill guys. But I'd be an idiot if I wouldn't, if I didn't bring up the guys in the trenches. They're gonna get all the awards, and I'm talking about my favorite draft pick award type of stuff. They're gonna get all the awards in a few months. So shout out to the big boys in the trench, those dogs in the trench, getting the work done, making sure they're keeping the pocket clean and pushing the pocket, and getting after the quarterback. So. Both our teams need it. Probably yours more than mine. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Mine's more than yours, but hopefully they make the right decisions. And that's all I got for you this time. That's all.
Appreciate it, Dane. I realized that I said the Senior Bowl was playing today. I'm thinking today is Saturday because I'm at home, but today's Thursday. The Senior Bowl is, for those listening, the Senior Bowl is Saturday. Okay, they're still practicing now. I'm thinking my timing's all off with being off from work and stuff, but Senior Bowl is this Saturday. Practice is still going on now, but Dane, thank you for your take.
It's time for General Homeboy.
I'm not an athlete. Still not an athlete.
Shout out Keith. Shout out to our guy Keith, and we will close on that episode 72 of the Duo Sports and Stuff podcast. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts. Check out our website, www.theduosportsandstuffpodcast.com. You can follow our Twitter page and Instagram at duosnspodcast. You can follow me at DEPS Right Steps on Twitter and Instagram, and Dane at DaneBTX on Twitter and Instagram. Dane, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. Y'all are awesome, man. We thankful for just the engagement that we have with y'all and just the opportunity we have to talk about something we love to watch and enjoy. So shout out to y'all for making this a thing. Y'all stay warm, stay safe. Be a blessing to somebody, man, and just be thankful and grateful of life because we got each other, man. It's gonna get us through this little winter thing we're going through as well as this pandemic. So love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Holler at y'all later. Oh, Deonte was playing 2K, NBA 2K, so I'm gonna need to that. Shame on him for playing that. He also bought Madden. I don't know why he did that. That's disgusting. He is a disgusting human being.
I'm actually glad you brought that up because I can plug my article that I wrote, the top 5 must-have features for EA Sports College Football Game on ourdailybears.com. I'll actually link that in the description of this episode. Thank you for that, Dane, for the alley-oop, my guy.
Man, I wasn't even trying to do that, but since we're already on the topic, one thing I did like about the article that you pointed out is just how you weren't trying to say it, but they watered down the recruiting process for college football revamp. Bringing the transfer portal would be kind of dope and just incentivize the player to actively pursue these guys that could potentially be on the team. So like the article, appreciate you for writing it. But again, you're still a sucker for buying Madden and you're still a sucker for playing NBA 2K. And I'm only saying that because I'm not playing.
You see how Dane showed all that love and then he just took it all away.
It's a compliment sandwich. You say all the ugly stuff on the outside and you put the good stuff on the inside. So good article. But by the way, you suck.
You suck. All right. Appreciate you, brother. And appreciate you and everyone else for tuning in to another episode of The Duo. Episode 72. We are out.
The Duo.